As everyone knows in this area, 2008 was a rough year for folks in a lot of ways. The flood being the biggest had a huge impact in our community. We had been talking in our field, which is substance abuse and mental health services, that this was going to have an impact on people and their use of substances. And we knew we'd probably be seeing that coming down the road. We knew there'd be some federal money available, and we've kind of been sitting tight and found out in July that through the Iowa Department of Public Health, there were indeed going to be some additional funds available to help people who are dealing with sort of the aftermath of the flooding issues, whether they lost their house, whether they weren't able to work anymore, economic issues, what have you, that we would have additional treatment services available for those people. And Iowa Department of Public Health let us know that they had $172,000 available for our area to really target working with people who are still dealing with the aftermath of those issues. Stress is a trigger, always has been a trigger for substance use, for something people turn to when they're stressed out. Drugs and alcohol are often an easy way and a quick way to feel better, when you're in a bad situation or you're stressed out. And for people who are in recovery and haven't been using for a while, it can also be a trigger to relapse. So we are seeing more and more clients come in who are dealing with stress, whether their homes were affected, maybe they were displaced, had to move in with relatives, had relatives moving in with them because of the flood, maybe where they worked was closed due to the floods and they're unemployed now. Just a number of different issues, and just the psychological effects that I think we all know that our community has felt around the flood can all lead to this sort of underlying feeling of stress. And even though it's been a year now, it can kind of have it's almost like post-traumatic stress disorder, can kind of have a delayed reaction. And we're seeing more and more clients come in who are using drugs and alcohol as a way of coping with that stress. And when we work with them, we can kind of trace it back to the floods and the events of 2008. One thing that we have available with the additional funding is really stress-specific training for our counselors. Our counselors are all certified and they're used to dealing with stress of different natures, but around a natural disaster is a little bit different. So this funding lets us really work specifically with our counselors to really be able to identify when someone walks in the door that this might be, their drug or alcohol use might be related to some of the stressors they've gone through in the last year around the flooding. And to be able to target that, recognize that, help our clients work with that, and implement that into their treatment plan so that we can get them sort of back on their feet as far as drug and alcohol use goes, and then also help refer them out for any other things still remaining from the flooding. If someone is experiencing problems around their drug or alcohol use, it might be time to come take a look at what's going on and are there any of our services that could help them. There are a number of people that use alcohol without ever having any major problems, and that's the majority of folks. But for some people, alcohol starts to cause problems, whether it's getting an OWI, showing up late for work, losing your job, problems with relationships, fighting with your spouse or your family, those sorts of things. When those things start to kind of add up, it's time to take a look at what role drugs and alcohol are playing in your life, and are there some services that MECCA can provide that can help you sort of get back on your feet with that. A lot of people that come in, like I said, may not even recognize that their drinking or their drug behavior now is even tied to some of the stress they went through about a year ago. And what we're hoping to do with the new funding and new programming is help people recognize and tie the two together. Because you can't get better unless you can figure out kind of what went wrong in the first place. So it's really an important part of it. Drug treatment can seem kind of like a mystery to people. Someone's sent to drug treatment or has to go for an evaluation, and it's not often understood by the general public what that's about. Basically, when someone walks into MECCA's doors, we want to find out how we can help. And that isn't just us jumping into, we think you need this, this, and this. We really need to take some time with the client to sit down, and it's called an evaluation or an assessment, and figure out, hey, what's going on? Where are you at? How can we be supportive? And that involves a lot of questions, talking not only about the person's drug and alcohol use and history, but what's happening with their family, with school if they're a student, what's their childhood like, what are their relationships like, what's their physical health like, their mental health, looking at sort of the big picture for a person to really be able to identify what is the drug and alcohol piece here. Is it being caused by something else? Is it just a way someone's coping with something else? Is it just experimentation? Is it something more serious? So it's really our job to help a person figure out where they're at, where they want to go, where they don't want to go, and how can we provide treatment services to help them, again, sort of get back on their feet and stop having problems around drugs and alcohol, whether they're legal, family, could be a whole range of things. You can reach us in a number of ways. You can look us up in the old phone book, the Yellow Pages. You can look us up online. You can stop by. We have on our website, which is MECCAServices.com, we have an email address where you can just ask questions if you're more comfortable that way, doing things online. A lot of folks like to do that. Our phone number, which is 319-351-4357. It's easier to remember it as 351-HEALTH. You can just pick up the phone and call 24 hours a day. You can call for yourself, you can call for a family member or a friend, and you can call just for information. You don't have to worry about calling and thinking, am I signing up for something? Do I have to come to something? You can just call and ask to speak with a counselor. Let us know what's going on for you or somebody you're concerned about, and we can help. There are costs involved, just like any other healthcare service. We do offer a sliding fee scale, so we take a look at if the person has insurance, they can use their health insurance as usual. If they don't have health insurance, the sliding fee scale allows us to just base what they would pay solely on their income. And for some people, if they're coming to us and they don't have a job and they have no income whatsoever, we still work with them on getting them back on their feet, providing services. That's why we're constantly looking for funding, new ways to help support those clients that don't have a way to pay so that we can provide services to everyone. So there's really a range of options, and we don't ever want that to be a reason why people don't come to get help. It's the same thing as if you were sick and needed to see your family physician. It'd be awful if you didn't go, because you don't have insurance or are worried about being able to pay for it. We want people to come in. We have financial counselors that can work with you. We really don't want that to be the main concern for people. We just want people to get in and get help.